everybody. My name is Mars. You can call me MG if you would like. And the lighting isn't as bad as it could be, but it's kind of bad right now, and that is because I'm starting this vlog at 9 p.m. Why am I starting a vlog at 9 p.m., you ask? Well, it's something that I do quite often because I like to read before bed, and unfortunately for me, the next books that I planned on reading are all books for a vlog, so I have to start the vlog before I can do the reading in bed. So we're here! And the theme of this vlog is a very interesting one to me. Basically, I've got a ton of books on my shelves that it's been a while since I read them, and I remember enjoying them, but I don't know if I would enjoy them now. Some of them are standalones that I just need to reread and see if I feel like keeping them. Some of them are series, like first books, that I have to reread and see if I actually care about continuing on with the series, because I am notorious for starting a series and then never continuing on no matter how much I love the first book. So I have picked up 3 books to read for this vlog that fit the category of wanting to reread to figure out if I still like these books and if I'm still interested in keeping them on my shelves. Now, the other criteria for this vlog in particular, because I do plan on doing more iterations of this vlog because I have a lot of books that fit this kind of vibe on my shelves, but for this vlog in particular, I wanted to pick books that weren't fantasy, because I have read so much fantasy this month, and don't get me wrong, I love fantasy, it's my favorite genre, but I'm feeling a little bit burnt out on it. So I've picked a sci-fi, and I've picked a mystery thriller type book that has a sci-fi element to it, and I have picked a book that is technically fantasy, but it's less high fantasy. Like, it's not that kind of vibe. It's more of a historical, paranormal horror kind of book. So I think that's fine where it does fall into the fantasy category. Um, yeah, I'm excited to read these books. I hope that I enjoy them, but also, if I don't enjoy them, then I can clear up some room on my shelves and then maybe get other books in there. Anyway, the first book that I'm going to be reading is the mystery thriller with a sci-fi element because it is a standalone and therefore the most likely for me to unhaul. And it just seemed like a good place to start because the other 2 books are series. So, the book that I'm starting with is Neverworld Wake by Marisha Pessl. I read this, don't know when, years and years and years ago, and I liked it but didn't love it. The reason why I kept this is mostly the fact that I thrifted it, and like, it as a used copy, it has some stuff in there from the previous owner, namely a photograph and a phone number in the front cover, and I just thought that was really fun. So like, I'm not going to show you the photo because I think there is a child in it. It's like a picture of, which I like still have it in the book. It's a picture of a child getting her picture drawn by like an artist on the street, and then the phone number, it has like someone's initials and a heart and then the phone number on it, and like, that's just so sentimental to me, even though I'm not the one who took the picture or wrote the phone number down. I didn't want to get rid of it, but I I think it's time for a reread to see if I like it more than I did before. If I don't, if I like it the same, I'm probably gonna get rid of it because this was very middle of the road from what I remember, but if I do like it more, then I'll keep it. We'll just have to find out. It's not very long. It's weird. I don't know if you can tell, but the like leaves of paper are so separated and chunky, and it's so weird. I've never seen a book do that before. It's 324 pages, so not long at all. And I'm thinking I'm just gonna fly through this, so that's fun at least. I like when I get to work through a book quickly. It makes me feel accomplished, but I'm going to get going on that, and I will update you along the way. Good morning, friends. Happy Saturday. It is about 9:30 in the morning here, and I have an update on Neverworld Wake. It's not a good one. Unfortunately, I'm DNFing this book. I did make it 76 pages in, so I gave it a fair shot. That's like 20%. It's just not for me. I was not enjoying any of the characters, especially the POV character. She was super annoying, and obviously I'm not going to want to continue reading a book when I really don't like the POV character, and also the writing was just not it. I have heard good things about Marisha Pessel's other books, specifically Night Film, I think is what it's called. And I do want to read Special Topics in Calamity Physics because that's got like a kind of dark academia vibe. So I'm willing to give her more chances in the future and read her other books. I just am going to take this one off my shelves. I did look up spoilery reviews, and that helped me like remember some things that I'd forgotten about the first time I read this, and it's not going to be a satisfying book to read if I push on, so I'm going to cut my losses here and add this to my ever-growing unhaul pile. Stay tuned in a couple of months for a large unhaul because the pile is growing very rapidly. So this one's going to get added onto that. The next book that I'm going to pick up, I am very scared because I want to enjoy it, but it is sci-fi. And I have, first of all, a very picky taste in sci-fi, and second of all, my taste in sci-fi has been changing over the past couple of years, so I'm worried that I'm not gonna like it. That book is Zodiac by Romina Russell. This is the first book in a 4-book series. It is YA sci-fi, like set in space, and basically in this world there is a solar system where the zodiacs that we have, like the constellations, this world, they are planetary systems, and there's 12 of them, one for each zodiac. And then this says, beware the 13th sign. I don't know if y'all remember that craze years and years ago where people were like, well, there's this 13th zodiac because it intercepts the, like, line of the zodiac constellations, so obviously it should also be a zodiac. Ophiuchus, I think is what it's called. It's the serpent bearer, something like that. So he comes and causes chaos in this solar system. And our main character is from the Cancer planet system. She becomes like the ruler of the planet even though she's only like 17. Is that correct? That feels really weird, but that's kind of what I remember. In a galaxy where your sign determines which planet you call home, Ro, the young guardian of Cancer, must find a way to unite the divided houses of the zodiac before an ancient evil destroys them all. Interesting. Yeah, so I'm gonna give this a go. It's very short. Let's actually see. Ooh, but it has teeny tiny font, so not as short as it seems. And it has 319 pages, so it is YA, so I should get through it fast, especially if I'm gonna DNF it, but I'm not hoping to DNF books. It just is a very present possibility, but I'm going to start on this later today and give you updates as I go. You guys have probably seen my vlogs before, you know the drill. Friends, it is now almost 8 p.m. I've changed my hoodie to put on a warmer one because it's so cold. The reason why we're in the bedroom right now is because the child next door was throwing a fit, and you could hear so clearly through my office wall, and I didn't want that in the background of this clip. So instead we have to deal with whatever's going on outside. I thought it was a plane going by, but it's been going for quite a while, so we don't actually know what it is, but we move. I have spent a lot of time, well, probably not a lot in the grand scheme of things, but throughout the day, I was doing a bunch of stuff, and like in between little tasks, I was reading a couple of chapters at a time, and I ended up reaching the halfway mark of Zodiac. I'm on page 157. So, I am enjoying this. Like, obviously, I read 150 pages in one day. I'm just not loving it. Like, it's fine. I tried to go on Goodreads to find out what I had thought about it the first time I read it, but I must have read this pre-Goodreads because it's not on there. I started using Goodreads in 2015 and this came out in 2014, so I guess I read it pretty soon after it was released. I genuinely don't know how I got this copy. Like, it's kind of just been in my collection for over 10 years now, so it's an enigma. But yeah, I can't rely on my past thoughts about certain things because I didn't record them anywhere. But I think that the pacing is super fast, which is good because it's not bogged down, but also I feel like we've been jumping from A to B to C to D so fast. This first half, so much has happened, and the plot has only been like 6 days. Like, that's the timeline of it. Like, things are happening. Our main character becomes the leader of her country because she's real good at reading the stars and, like, determining the future. That's, like, the main thing that the leaders of these different zodiac houses do. And she can see this, like, thing that people don't really believe her is the reason why all these different disasters are happening. Some people believe her, but not a lot. And it's just so much happening. So much. She does have 2 potential love interests because obviously this is a YA book with a female lead that was published in 2014. But the last chapter has done something very interesting. So her one love interest, potential love interest, is her like mentor character, kind of. He's also very new at what he does, but he's still like meant to guide her because she's new to politics. And so she's 17, he's 22. That's kind of weird. I don't really love that, but at least they didn't really know each other when they were younger. I mean, they kind of did. He was 17 when she was 12, and that's when she came to this school that he was already at, and she, like, watched him sometimes, like, not in a creepy way. Like, he was very methodical in, like, what he did and had a very strict routine, and she noticed that, and so sometimes she would, like, see him going through his day because they kind of crossed paths, so that's how she knows of him. And then the other potential love interest is a leader of another zodiac house, the Libra house, and so they can't be together because there's like this rule between the guardians of the different houses, like they're not allowed to fraternize like that. And so at the end of the last chapter, the guide character, I mean, he catches our main character and the other guy, like, not doing anything wrong, but, like, real close, and he, like, snaps at her, and, he says, let me help you with this. He's forbidden and I'm too old. And then the chapter just ends, and then the next chapter is them arriving at the next place, so I'm like, what? We don't know her emotional reaction to that at all, and, like, the fallout of that? Crazy. But, I don't know. I still don't want to rule him out as a potential love interest because, I mean, there's still 3 more books in the series past this, so who knows what's gonna happen. Yeah, things are interesting. One complaint that I do have is that it feels like they're getting the answers to things too quickly. Like, there'll be a question, and then the first, like, thing they think of that might be an answer ends up being the answer. And they have another question, and then the first thing they think of ends up being the answer. And that's kind of boring. So, like I said, I'm having a fine time with this, but I'm really not loving it. But I think I'm going to fly through the second half. I'm going to do more reading tonight, but I don't know how much. I'm probably not going to finish it tonight. But then again, I've said stuff like that before and then been completely wrong, so I'll finish this at some point soon, I guess, and then I will see when that happens to give you the final update, and I'll decide then whether or not I'm keeping it. friends. It is about 11:30 a.m. on Sunday, and I'm here to tell you that I finished reading Zodiac. Woo! I read so much of it yesterday. I ended up staying up till 1:30 in the morning because Katie Ann was streaming, and it was a great time. Let me tell you, I was in tears laughing. I love my friend so much. It was wonderful. Um, yeah, I got most of the way through the book, and then I had like 60 or 70 pages left to finish up this morning, so I did that, and now I'm done. And this book was like fine. There were parts that I liked, parts that I didn't like. The last like 40 pages genuinely were a slog though. Like I was just reading because I was so close to the end. I did not have a good time. I think I'm going to unhaul my copy, and I'm okay with that. I'm not upset about that. I'm gonna leave this on my series tracker though, in case I want to continue on with the series. I already checked my library has copies physically, as ebooks, as audiobooks. Like, if I ever want to continue the series, I can easily get my hands on copies of the other 3 books. But I didn't love it. It was purely okay. I think that it's gonna take like a time travel kind of aspect to it in future books, which I'm not the biggest fan of. There are definitely books that have time travel that I've enjoyed, but for the most part, time travel just isn't my type of sci-fi, so that's a little bit of a bummer. I'm not like fiending to continue on with the series, but I might be in the mood for a YA sci-fi sometime in the future, and if I am, I'll just pick up the next one. It's probably going to be super short and fast-paced as well, so at least there's that. But yeah, that is the second book done for this vlog. The first that I actually finished reading. Oh my god, I just had a sudden hiccup that scared me. Yeah, that was Zodiac. Now we get to move on to the book that I'm the most excited and also most scared to pick up, and that is House of Furies by Madeleine Roux. This was my favorite book that I read in 2020. So going back to it, I'm so scared I'm not going to enjoy it. First of all, let me angle this. It's a very shiny cover, but I want to show you the art because it's so beautiful. I love it so much. Yeah, I read this towards the end of 2020 and it blew me away. It is historical. When does this take place? Does it have a year? 1810. This takes place in England in 1810, and it's got like a supernatural kind of aspect. It's got horror. It was so much fun. I don't remember any of the details. I think the main character's name is Louisa. Yeah, Louisa. That's as far as I remember that, and that I enjoyed it. So it's gonna be a time. It is just over 400 pages. I think it's like 404 pages. So a little bit longer than Zodiac was, but not by much. And I'm hoping it'll be very fast-paced. It has beautiful art in it. Like, that is stunning. And then the start of all the chapters has this like void portal type thing. I'm obsessed. I have since read another book by Madeleine Roux. It was The Nine Eyes of Lucian. That's what it's called. The second novel in the Critical Role universe, and I loved it. I thought that was fantastic. So, high hopes for this. I'm really, really hoping that I love it as much as I did the first time I read it. So, I'm going to get going on this a little bit later, and I will, of course, update you as I go along. Good morning, friends. Happy Monday. I am here with an exciting update on House of Furies. First of all, that's sick. I like this little detail. The spine also has this like metallic blue on it. It's so beautiful. But yesterday I streamed for about 3 hours, and during the sprints I did some other stuff, but mostly I read, and then after the stream I also continued reading pretty much until I went to bed. and I read 180-ish pages yesterday. So then this morning I just read 20 more to get me to halfway. It's slightly less than halfway. I've read 199 pages, and there are 404. So I have 205 left technically, but it's close enough to halfway. I'm having a fantastic time with this book. It's so good. I don't think it's like a favorite the way it was when I first read it 4 years ago, but I'm still having a lovely time with it. I think the writing style is so easy to get into, and I like the actual like narration of it. So we do have Louisa's story, which is told in first person past tense, and it's about this house that she goes to work at. It's called Cold Thistle House, and things are weird, but like not super weird at first. It's just like little tiny things where she's like, I don't know how I feel about this. And during her like normal day doing her work there, she's a scullery maid. She like snoops around a bit and finds more information, and then something major happens to really flip things from being weird to being terrifying. Like the horror elements in this aren't like terrifying to me, or like most readers probably wouldn't find it absolutely terrifying, but like to Louisa, they're awful and like they're definitely scary, but they're also like fun. So I don't want to like give details because I don't want to spoil things, but it like pulls in elements of like fairies and stuff because this does take place in 1800s England. Our main character is from Ireland, and like those are places with a lot of folklore about fairies, and it's just a really good time. I'm having a fantastic time reading this. But interspersed between Louisa's story is excerpts from, let me read it off the page so I don't get it wrong, from a book called Rare Myths and Legends, The Collected Findings of H.I. Morningside. And Mr. Morningside is the proprietor, I guess you could call him, of Cold Thistle House, and he is a weird man, and I love him. So things are happening. Louisa is still in her this is way too much, I gotta get out of here kind of phase, but she's having troubles with that. So I can't wait to continue. I'm definitely going to be doing a lot more reading today. I have to edit a video, and I can't use my computer for other things while a video is exporting or uploading because my computer is old and cranky and will not work. So I guess I'm gonna have to read while that's going on. What a shame. And then obviously I'll be reading tonight if I don't finish this book before then, because honestly I might. Like, it's really fun. So that is my update at the midpoint of House of Furies. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that I'm enjoying this because we had a book I DNF'd and then a book that I thought was fine but nothing special. So the fact that we now have one that I'm really, really enjoying is great. It's been a lovely time. So I'm going to go get on with my day. I've got so much to do, but I'm not going to complain. Most of it is pretty fun stuff. And I will see you, I guess, when I finish this book. That's crazy, but I'm excited. Hello friends, it is Tuesday, and last night, right before bed, I finished House of Furies. Literally, I finished this book. I turned off the light, and went to sleep. Like, it was immediately before I went to bed. But, this book was so good. I had a fantastic time. It's not perfect by any means. Like, there are some things where I'm like, about it. But, like, it was still a great time. And I'm so excited to see what happens in the rest of the series, because there are 2 more books. The ending, there's like this, I don't know how to describe it without spoiling it for you, but there's this like shocking moment, and then like it's reversed, but at what cost? It's that kind of deal. And the cost is greater than anyone imagined it would be. And then there's like a little epilogue lead in to something happening, and like, oh, it's so good. It was so good. I can see why this was my favorite book of 2020. So that was House of Furies. We're ending this vlog on a high note. This was great, and I will definitely be continuing on with the series, so yay, I love that for me. But we have come to the end of this vlog. I do plan on doing a couple more rereading vlogs because I've got several books on my shelves that I have not read in so long, and I'm not sure how I feel about them anymore, so look forward to those in the coming months. But for now, if you've enjoyed this vlog, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. You can subscribe to my channel for more content, and that way I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye everyone!